Is there any hope for America? Or are they destined to be a stinky, dumb, redneck country forever?
Alright, bro. You from the UK? Don't let me get on your head, bro. Stop. We are not full of stinky rednecks. Okay, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. But not all of us, okay? Relax. If you were to ask anybody from a different country other than America if Americans are stupid, their answer would probably be yes. There is a stereotype that Americans are dumb, you know, we're not very smart, and we have, I guess, no knowledge of the outside world. Which my answer is going to be to refute that as an American. What fraction of the apples are orange? Okay, how many is total? There's 33. 3 of it. Okay, 1/10. We are smart. Americans are smart. Trust, guys. Trust. But since everyone thinks Americans are stupid, today we're going to be checking out how America got so stupid. Okay, let's do it.
There's a famous episode of the Jimberly Kimberly live show where clueless residents of Los Angeles fail to name a single country.
Is it South Africa?
Okay, I could do this. Name a country. Okay, the United States, buddy. Ha. Mexico, Canada, El Salvador is down here somewhere.
Yeah, the country of Asia.
Greenland or Iceland or something.
Although these are no doubt
Greenland or Iceland or something. Facts, okay.
I'm sure if you stood in a big city all day and shoved a camera in people's faces and asked them questions, you'd be able to find 3 minutes worth of people who couldn't answer on the spot.
That's true.
Miss, for $1, name a woman.
Why did I almost say Lyndon B. Johnson, bro? Harriet Tubman.
Woman?
Yeah.
But
Your
the
sister.
stereotype that Americans are ignorant about the wider world is largely true. These people can't name a country because they don't care about other countries. 40% of Americans have a passport, compared to 66% of Canadians and 76% of Brits.
That's interesting. In America, they don't really incentivize us to get passports. They more so tell us get real IDs because they don't really want you traveling outside the country to see how, you know, beautiful other countries may be. I don't know. A lot of times we think, or we're made to think, that America is the greatest country, and so who cares about what's going on anywhere else? America is like the main character, you know?
In 1994, it was only 10% of Americans. But that doesn't mean Americans have gotten more globetrotting since then. It was because after an above-average episode of the news, it became mandatory to need a passport when entering Canada and Mexico.
Okay.
So it's fair to say that a very small percent of Americans will be leaving this corner of the world.
Can we get a show of hands for who has their passport? I have mine. Do you have yours? Get your passport, bro.
As I said in a previous video, America has all you'd ever want geographically within her borders. Why go anywhere else?
Her borders. Why are you saying that? America's a woman. Is it because misogyny? Is it because...
Foreign cultures, maybe? Americans don't care about that either. On the list of the highest grossing movies in the USA...
America doesn't care about foreign culture, but it always takes foreign culture because America is a big mixing pot. Let's be honest, okay? Everybody from everywhere came to America and made America what it is. So to not care about foreign culture kind of makes no sense.
You have to go all the way to 520th place to get a movie that isn't American. It's Crouching Tiger, Hidden
I watched this.
Dragon, by the way. Couldn't even beat The Nutty Professor. Somebody please check up on Ang.
Alright, don't disrespect the Nutty Professor now. Hold on now.
I think he might have killed himself. Neither do global affairs hold the average American's interest. When asked about the Kyoto Climate Accords, who the Taliban are, or who Nicolas Sarkozy is, Americans are woefully underinformed compared to other developed nations.
Yeah, I don't know any of what I just read.
In 2009, only half knew that last year's Olympics were held in Beijing. Oh, but of course, when asked to name American celebrities, they had no trouble.
To be fair though, everybody can name things that are more unique to their country, right? Like if I ask you if you're in the UK to name, I don't know, a freaking UK drill rapper, you were in Australia, and I said, name the biggest insect y'all have, you would tell me. I don't know, wherever, you would be able to tell me that better than anywhere else. And plus, the Olympics aren't that big of a thing in America, I feel like. I don't know. We're bigger on like national sports.
At the same time, we non-Americans are flooded with American culture. Some British people know more about American politics and history than their own.
Also dropped into the trench depth or the
That's because America's, you know, the main character, bro.
Z-axis is
It's Z-axis, you floppy-haired moron. France had to pass laws banning radio stations from playing too much American music.
Really? But who wants to listen to French music, bro? Croissant and crepes and chocolate. What do they be talking about, bro? We got the greatest of all time, bro. We have Michael Jackson. Do you remember when we fell in love?
There are only 2 countries in the world where Coca-Cola is not sold.
Really?
Wait, scratch that. This journalist from Finland bought a Coke at a water park in Pyongyang in 2017. And what's this hiding in the background of somebody's holiday snaps at the National Hotel de Cuba? Look, you know something's up when remote tribesmen in the Amazon rainforest who don't even have electricity know who Michael Jackson is.
Good point.
Americans used to be quite well read. After the Second World War, Americans consumed 63% of all the newspapers in the world.
I mean, we were involved in the war, though. Nowadays, we're not really involved in a lot of wars, so there's not much to be reading about. Like, when we were getting involved in, like, some of the stuff in Iran, like, a couple weeks back, I feel like everybody was kind of reading up on that, right? But overall, reading is kind of like a thing of the past. Nowadays, we're just social media scrollers.
And they used this to their advantage. In 1948, the newly formed United Nations created a list of human rights that all countries should strive to uphold.
Okay.
One area that Americans were particularly interested in was this one, Article 19. Everyone has the right to freedom of expression and opinion, and receive and impart information and ideas through any media and regardless of frontiers.
Sounds good.
What the USA wanted was a completely level playing field. Anyone can buy any media from any other country.
Okay.
A global free market of ideas, released from the shackles of censorship. For if anyone can gain access to the truth...
And I think nowadays, people who complain about censorship, they just want to say the hard R or a bunch of other slurs online. Real censorship was at play, bro. Nowadays, the censorship people complain about is just goofy, bro.
We cannot be marched into the same kind of ignorance and intolerance that characterized the Axis nations of the war. This is admirable. Freedom of speech is a core value of the United States and many other allied nations. But some delegates, like those from India, questioned the US's motives. If you believe in an equal access to information and culture, shouldn't you redistribute some of your media creating capacity to developing nations like ours, so that we have an equal opportunity to tell the world?
America doesn't want to do that. America doesn't want to build up other countries. We, I guess, want to be the country that's in power while everybody else, fights to get to the top, bro. That's why anytime you'll see somebody developing like their technology or developing their weaponry, they become a massive threat, bro. Because America wants to be the number one.
Our stories. The Americans would not budge. Of course, they knew deep down that India was right. The American delegation to the convention was highly populated by journalists and media magnates.
Okay.
They knew that if countries couldn't afford their own news, they would be increasingly reliant on buying news from American wire companies like the Associated Press, which was good for both the media companies' profits, but also the US State Department, who would no doubt have been licking their lips at the prospect of 1 billion people reading
propaganda, Western propaganda. Okay, got it.
News with a specific American spin on it. In 1944, the Associated Press sold news to 38 countries. Within 8 years, that had doubled to 70 countries.
Okay.
In the 1950s, around half of films shown in European and Asian cinemas were American.
See, and then that's why people believe what they believe, bro, because the freaking American ideology, bro. That's probably why in Asia they think like white is better and stuff, or everybody wants to be whiter. Because, bro, all you do is watch freaking American media, you grow up on Western media, you gonna believe what the Westerners think, bro. And you know what the Westerners thought about dark people?
Thirds in Mexico, Brazil, and Argentina. Which makes sense. Americans made grand Technicolor films brimming with Hollywood sparkle because they could afford to. Whereas war-torn Europe, impoverished Mexico, and nuclear-obliterated Japan were stuck making small-scale comedies to keep up morale.
America had like the #1 tech, right? With having that tech, people are obviously gonna watch your stuff more because it's like, it was more entertaining, there's more to it. And with that, when people are watching your media, you can influence what the people think by saying literally whatever you want or displaying or portraying any type of message. It's like destroying people from the inside out, bro.
French movies in 40s France was 1949's The Big Day, a mostly plotless movie where a whimsical French postman gets into wacky mischief in a quaint village.
Okay.
There just wasn't the money or resources for anything else. Hollywood captured the European public's imagination, and they wanted more. But why is it only a one-way street? Because while you can do or say whatever you want within the United States, the Constitution also says that the American government can regulate what goes in or out.
Right.
During the Cold War, anything that might be considered communist propaganda could be seized by the post office and never delivered. Books or even souvenirs from...
But then, like, how do they determine what's communist propaganda or not? Some of them, I'm guessing some of these stuff, forms of literature or whatever, were actually not communist propaganda, but they ended up getting blocked because, the US government didn't want people to see it, because we have clearly the most freaking trustworthy government of all time, right, guys? We can clearly trust everything that's going on in the United States government, man. Yeah, since the beginning of time. The CIA didn't plant freaking crack in black communities. No, why?
Countries, for example. Pamphlets criticizing US foreign policy. Immigration reached a low point in the early 70s, with only 4.7% of Americans being foreign-born, limiting Americans' interaction with different cultures. Obviously, it wasn't totally like North Korea. Plenty of foreign movies and music were allowed into the US.
Yeah.
But the media that caught on was either already Americanized or so plastically exotic that it doesn't really say anything about the culture where it's from.
Okay.
The Beatles were British, yes, but they got their start covering American rock and roll musicians. When John Lennon stepped out of
Do y'all listen to the Beatles? I listened to them before, but not really familiar. I know freaking Paul McCartney, and that's it.
line, the American government made sure that he knew it. Movies imported from Japan were mostly samurai flicks,
Japan.
and very few movies set in the modern day. The film Ikiru is widely considered the best Japanese film ever made, if you ignore people who have never felt the touch of a woman.
What are you trying to say about anime, bro? That us anime watchers never get touched? Oh, we've been touched plenty of times, especially when we were children. That didn't come off how it was supposed to. We get played, bro, okay? Anime is very good. Anime is very goated. One of the top 5 inventions out of Japan, bro. Stop.
Existential drama about a depressed, lonely man was only given a limited release in California, and the poster was lonely who have never felt the touch of a woman.
Monster, oh my god, great anime right here. Gurren Lagann, oh my god, amazing anime right here.
But this existential drama about a depressed, lonely man was only given a limited release in California, and the poster was edited to feature a stripper who is only in the movie for like 1 minute.
What you trying to say, bro? You trying to say Japanese people get down like that? Trust me, they don't. No, sometimes they do, actually. Never. They have brothels.
The French New Wave cinema. Movies that were stylistically inspired by American films, but also so stuffy that few audiences would ever want to watch them anyway.
Qu'est-ce que ça peut te faire?
Ça ne va pas, non?
Non, rien. Je voulais dire cette phrase avec une idée précise. Je ne savais pas quelle était la meilleure façon d'exprimer cette idée.
Okay.
Ou plutôt, je le savais. Mais maintenant, je ne sais plus.
This was further stifled by the Hays Code, a set of extremely strict regulations that were in place from 1934 to 1968. If you've ever wondered why old black and white films seem so dry, it's because of these rules.
Okay.
Some things that were completely banned from ever
So they weren't allowed to talk about certain things? Religion, costume, national feelings? Okay.
being shown in any film included bad guys winning. All movies had to end with the police outwitting the evil criminals or the criminals causing their own demise.
Whack. Okay, this is where the government starts, you know, implementing their freaking stupid rules and stuff, bro. Because what do you mean the police always win? No, they don't. They do not. That's not even realistic.
Any nudity, even the silhouette of a booba, is an instant ban. Blood or dead bodies. When people get shot in old films, they usually just clutch the wound, but no actual blood is seen. Pointing a gun at somebody in the same frame. This is why guns are always held at waist height. Kissing for longer than 3 seconds.
Okay, so if I go for 2.9, it's cool, but if I go for 3.1, it's bad, and I'm banned? Okay.
Interracial couples. White people as slaves.
Interracial couples are banned. Okay, yeah, I could have expected that. White people as slaves? No. White people are not allowed to be depicted as slaves. If you want to have a slave, they must be black. Only black. Okay, that's the rules of the government, bro, I guess.
Criticism of religion or of any other country. Naturally, this prevented the more artistically liberal European films from being shown in American cinemas. And when they did get a US release, they were usually...
Oh, I got it now. Okay, that makes sense. American movies had to abide by these laws, but the fact that all these intricate laws were placed were made so that other movies couldn't get into the US, so people couldn't watch them. Is that, unless I'm missing the message, I think that's what he's trying to say mostly. Which, you know, that's smart for the US to make it seem like, oh, we're just regulating our own movies, but really, we're trying to limit what goes in and out of the eyes of our population.
And when they did get a US release, they were usually edited to remove the violence in movies and sex on TV to comply with the good old-fashioned values.
Okay.
At least until the rules were abolished in 1968 and replaced by the age rating system we have today. Even as the Cold War ended and the internet gave Americans unparalleled access to the rest of the world and all of human knowledge, they still preferred to hang out on a handful of American-made websites dominated by Americans.
To be fair though, with the way that it was originally created, you would think that the American people get used to, you know, consuming American media. It makes sense to consume American media. Also, like, we don't speak other languages really in America unless you're speaking what, like French, Spanish. Also, we already have some of the best media, as you said, because our technology is already advanced. There's not much of a reason to consume other people's media compared to other people consuming American media.
The insular culture of 20th century America has carried over to the 21st.
But I think nowadays people are getting a lot more used to watching other people's media. Like for example, a lot of people who are like Gen Z, younger, watch a lot of anime, for example. Some people watch K-dramas, other people consume like K-pop. Even me, I listen to music from the UK. Some people watch things from China, some people watch things from Korea, some people watch stuff from Mexico. Like it's getting a lot better, I would say.
Tightened border security after Septiembre Undécimo means foreign musicians can have a hard time getting visas. In 2002, the touring visa of a German orchestra was cancelled after it was discovered the cellist had a criminal record for shoplifting a pair of tweezers in 1991.
Wow. I mean, everybody has done way worse than that. Tweezer? I mean, damn, he ain't even steal like candy or nothing. It's not like he stole money from somebody. It's just freaking tweezer from a store.
When they tried again for a visa in 2004, the cellist had to undergo an hour-long interview with Homeland Security and had to physically pick up his visa from the US Embassy. Global cultures might be more present in American media, but they're always through the lens of American characters.
That's true.
Such as The Last Samurai starring Tom Cruise.
Is this a white dude playing a Japanese samurai?
He plays a white guy in 1870s Japan. 7 Years in Tibet, another American in China. Indiana Jones, American in Egypt.
Oh, damn, I didn't even really realize that. I did watch Indiana Jones and I played the Lego games. Did y'all play Indiana Jones Lego games? And I played the PS2 game.
The Bourne Identity, American in France. Inglourious Bastards, Americans in German-occupied France. And for the ladies in the audience, Mamma Mia. For a movie set on a Greek island, there's not a single Greek person in the entire movie.
Damn.
Is there any hope for America? Or are they...
It's so weird seeing or realizing how like America controls the media. Like movies, like the news, it's all filtered by American rules or regulations or ideas. So we don't really get a real grasp on what the people are like in, for example, Japan or in Russia or wherever that movie is portrayed, Egypt, etc. Because it's all being portrayed by Americans and what Americans think. Because obviously they want you to think a certain way about people. They don't want you to think that other people are the best version of themselves. No, they're going to portray them in the worst way, probably.
Is there any hope for America? Or are they destined to be a stinky, dumb, redneck country forever?
Alright, bro. You from the UK? Don't let me get on your head, bro. Stop. We are not full of, stinky rednecks. Okay, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. But not all of us, okay? Relax.
Maybe. In 2000, 92% of the music in the USA Top 50 was American, making it the second most insulated market in the world after Pakistan. But today, it's more like 60%, with Brits, Canadians...
And also, not just the people from other overseas, but people who are they're like first generation kids from other countries. You get what I'm saying? Like Haiti, people from like Jamaica, people from, I don't know, other parts of Asia, Africa, dropping, songs that are popular here. Low-key, now I think about it, I feel like TikTok is playing a really good part in diversifying the media in terms of like global media coming into America. And that might be why, part of why the government wants it banned.
With Brits, Canadians, Latin Americans, and Africans making...
Kodak Black, Super Gremlin. I mean, he's American, but he's not really American though. I mean, like he is, but I think he's first generation, right?
Latin Americans, and Africans making themselves more seen in the charts. Each year, there are more foreign films nominated at the Academy Awards than ever before. What used to be an American-only pay-to-win awards show is now an international pay-to-win
So people caught up.
show. As social media platforms have an element of randomness in what they show users, there is a higher chance of Americans being shown videos from other countries, forcing them to take note of what is happening. It seems the revolution will be TikToked.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm on some. See, Americans aren't that stupid, bro. I'm telling you, bro. I'm actually smart. And then also, not just only revolution will be TikTok, bro, but whenever I see like foreign stuff on TikTok, and I know you notice this too if you've been on the app, or really any app that shows foreign stuff, people will comment like, oh, this is not what I thought it would be, or it looks completely different than I thought, or bro's just like me. Like, yeah, we're all humans, bro. You'd be surprised how much we have in common and how much you're made to think that the next man is worse than you because they're from a different place that's more impoverished or whatever.
I've been giving the impression throughout this video that it's all or most Americans who are terminally uneducated. But American ignorance isn't as evenly distributed as you'd think.
So what is it?
That study I mentioned earlier? When adjusting for English proficiency, income, and education levels, Americans are really no different from their European counterparts. And in some cases, marginally smarter. Knowledge about the wider world even correlates to political views, and not in the way that you'd think. A 2022 survey asked Americans 12 questions about the world, such as, Who is the British Prime Minister?
Who is the British Prime Minister? I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know.
What does the Indian flag look like? And
Okay, it's showing.
what this symbol
Euros.
represents? The people who answered the most questions correctly were committed Democrats and committed Republicans.
Oh.
Swing voters, those enlightened centrist chads, were the stupidest.
Well, that's
Only
me.
40% of moderate Republicans could name the US Secretary of State, compared to 60% of convicted Republicans. Only half of moderate Democrats knew that the USMCA trade agreement replaced NAFTA, compared to 66% of convicted Democrats.
True. I think it also depends on who you're asking these questions to. Like, a person who's a little bit younger, below 25, probably not going to have the right answer to this question compared to somebody who's like 35 plus, right? I don't know, because I feel like Gen Z is just becoming more politically aware.
Also, I just thought it was funny that the more Americans know about the European Union, the more favourable view they have of it. So are Americans ignorant? Many of them are. But it isn't their fault. It's a mix of geography, American imperialism, Cold War paranoia, moral puritanism, and economic factors that create a paradoxical nation that is both the most expansive empire, but also an informational prison of their own making.
Got it.
God bless you, stupid bastards.
Damn. All right, bro, relax, okay? It's about time, I put my foot down, man, okay? But that was how America got so stupid. We learned that the reason why America is so stupid is because we always had, the #1 media. Yes, we did. But the reason why is because we had the most resources. American government control what goes in and out of the country when it comes to, what the people watch. And then in the American movies, people from other countries are often portrayed wrongly or strangely. And then also with our geography and everything in America, how big America is, there's not really as much of a motivation to travel outside of the country. A lot of us don't have passports. A lot of us don't really care about what's going on globally. Like freaking California is as big as, I don't know, probably bigger than Italy, actually. And when I finally realized how small like European countries were, I was like, damn, bro. Like you can go from Switzerland to Germany very, very fast, right? Or am I tripping? Maybe I gotta look at a globe before I start saying all this nonsense. But that's gonna do it for today's video. That was why Americans are so stupid now. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Make sure you like, subscribe, join the Discord link in the description. Link me any new videos you want me to check out. As always, it's Love for Law. I love you, and I'm out.